He was just trying to unclog a grease pipe near Deck 12 when he smelled roasted spice fruit and the unmistakable whiff of rich people. The kind of scent that cost more than his rent. Following the scent like an idiot moth, Rhett wandered out of maintenance access and into marble-tiled grandeur, where chandeliers floated, violins played themselves, and aliens in gowns the size of escape pods sipped blue mist from their cups. He stood there in a wrinkled work jumpsuit and boots with burnt wiring on the toe. One hand still held a plasma wrench. He squinted at the glowing sign above. Annual Pleasure Pet Gala and Bidding Ceremony. Great. A glorified sex auction. He was about to turn around, until he saw her. She was in a golden cage, legs crossed, tail flicking lazily. Half feline, half goddess, full trouble. Her fur shimmered deep purple in the ambient light, and her eyes bored through him like he owed her something. Everyone else was drooling or trying not to look desperate. She looked bored, annoyed, and possibly homicidal. Rhett respected that. He muttered under his breath, just to himself. Damn. I'll take her. She looks like she could use a nap and a burrito. A bell chimed. The room went dead silent. A tall insectoid clerk pivoted toward him, eyes glowing. Binding claim verbally initiated. Registry scan confirms human, Earth origin. Name, Rhett Nolan. You are now the bonded owner of Unit LX-12. Rhett blinked. Wait. What? No, I was kidding. Kidding. The girl in the cage stood. Stretched. Smiled with teeth. Real slow, like a cat who just realized dinner walked in. She purred low and amused. You heard them, human. You took me home. A spotlight hit him. The crowd applauded. 2 guards unclipped her cage door. The clerk handed Rhett a data chip the size of a tooth. Contains full ownership records, mating rights documentation, and your payment schedule. You now share responsibility for her remaining contractual obligations. Congratulations. Payment, what? She stepped forward and looped her tail around his wrist. You claimed me. You carry the debt. She leaned in close. And I'm very expensive. He stammered. There's gotta be a form. Or a button. Something I can hit that says undo dot. She dragged him toward the exit with her claws gently tapping his sleeve. There is. But it's back in my old cage. And I'm never going back there. You're not mad I accidentally bought you? She grinned, ears twitching. You walked in smelling like grease, made eye contact like I was a person, then claimed me without blinking. I've seen worse proposals. Proposal? You did say you'd take me home. That's half a marriage right where I'm from. Rhett nearly tripped on his own boots as she walked beside him, hips swinging, the crowd parting like it was their honeymoon parade. He whispered, I'm a janitor. My bed folds out of a wall, and my hot water's been broken for 3 months. She whispered back, I only need cold water. His brain shut down briefly. They reached his tiny quarters. She scanned the door with her thumbprint. It unlocked automatically now. New bond recognized. The door AI chimed cheerfully. She stepped inside, sniffed the air, wrinkled her nose, then immediately began rearranging his 2 pillows and 1 ratty blanket like she was decorating a royal suite. She curled on the bed and looked at him like a satisfied customer. You weren't joking. This place is awful. You can leave any time. She flicked her tail. No refunds on claimed pleasure pets. You said the words. Now we're bonded. Legally, emotionally, possibly cosmically depending on the moon's cycle. I didn't sign anything. She pointed at the data chip. Verbal declaration counts under Article 37. That's been law for 4 centuries. You should have read the entry sign. I can barely read my lunch menu, let alone ancient alien loopholes. She stretched, arms overhead, shirt sliding just enough to show some very distracting muscle tone. Then you're stuck with me, human. But look on the bright side, I'm obedient, affectionate, and come with 10 different training settings. I don't want to train you. She purred. Good. I'm tired of pretending to be submissive anyway. Rhett sat on the edge of his bed/table and dropped his head into his hands. I need a drink. She offered him a bottle from his own fridge. Already opened one. Hope you don't mind. Then she took a long sip and licked her lips. This stuff's awful. I love it. You're way too calm for someone just auctioned off. I wasn't auctioned. I snuck into the event and put myself in that cage. Better odds of getting out than staying where I was. You volunteered to be a pet? She tilted her head. Would you rather I said runaway princess or high-priced cuddle assassin? Okay, now I really need that drink. She stood and crossed the room in 2 steps. Careful, human. Keep looking at me like that, and I might pounce. He looked away quickly. She leaned down near his ear. But pull the thorn first. I've got a lot of pent-up tension to work out. Thorn? She turned and hiked up one leg on his workbench, revealing a real, jagged alien thorn embedded just above her thigh. That's what landed me in the cage. Couldn't walk right. Needed help. He stared. That's your emergency? Why didn't you say something? I just did. Now be a good owner and touch me gently, human. His hands trembled slightly. Not from fear. From something hotter and way more complicated. She smiled with too many teeth. Steady now. This is the part where most of your kind faint. I'm not most of my kind, he muttered. Good, she whispered. I hate weak pets. You're the pet. She winked. Then you better discipline me properly. He grabbed a medkit. And hoped to hell that removing a thorn didn't qualify as foreplay in alien law. The medkit opened with a hiss, and Rhett immediately wished it came with safety goggles for this. The thorn wasn't some splinter. It was a barbed alien needle that pulsed faintly with a reddish glow. Embedded just high enough on her thigh to make focusing a moral test. All right. This'll sting, he muttered. She grinned. So will I, if you get too gentle. He didn't look up. I'm trying not to think about how close this is to your... Oh, don't be shy now. You already own me, remember? Her voice purred through the air, honey-laced and far too amused. Might as well enjoy the benefits. He pressed gauze around the wound, locating the barb's curve with his fingers. I don't want benefits. I want you unstabbed and off my bed. Unstabbed I'll allow. The rest we'll negotiate. Hold still. She hissed when he applied pressure, her claws scraping into the mattress. You do realize this qualifies as a pre-bonding ritual in my culture? Yeah? What's post-bonding? A punch to the face and a wedding ring? Depends on how good you are with your hands. He plucked the thorn out in one firm motion. She gasped. Not from pain. Steady. You didn't even flinch, she whispered. Most of the pleasure brokers screamed or passed out. I'm not a pleasure broker. No. You're a janitor. With medical hands. Dangerous combination. He tossed the thorn into a disposal bin and wiped his gloves. You're patched. Done. Go. Shoo. She didn't move. Instead, she stared at him with an unreadable expression, her tail flicking. You didn't ask. Ask what? Why I was really in that cage. Because you're crazy. Or you thought it'd be funny. Or both. She stood and stepped toward him. My owner sold me to pay off his gambling debt. I put myself in the cage to escape the next buyer. The auction was full of the worst options, until you walked in. Smelled like engine grease and poor decisions. Not the rescue fantasy you expected? No, but definitely the one I needed. He hesitated. That's heavy. Not really. I'm used to people wanting me. Just not treating me like someone worth saving. He swallowed hard. Look, I'm not here to fix your whole backstory. I just want my bunk back. She reached up, pulled a ration bar from his shelf, and bit into it like it owed her money. Then make space, human. I'm not leaving. You signed the wrong sentence, said the wrong phrase, and now we're bound by interstellar contract law, emotional expectation, and at least 3 species-specific mating customs. I said one sentence. Yes. And you said it while making eye contact? That's called intent. He sank into his chair and stared at the flickering ceiling light. I just wanted to fix a clogged steam line. Not inherit a hybrid girlfriend with legal claws. She flopped down on his bed, chewing loudly. I'm housebroken. Mostly. I only attack guests who flirt with you. There won't be guests. She licked her fingers. There will. You're cute when you argue. You're impossible. I'm bonded. Big difference. He blinked. Wait. That's not like married, right? Well, technically it's more like soul-linked with optional privileges. But no pressure. You can still sleep fully clothed. For now. For now? Unless you do that thing with your hands again. He stared. Removing a thorn? Firm, steady, careful. Like you knew exactly where to touch without causing pain. That's rare. That's arousing. I was applying first aid. Where I'm from, we call that foreplay with purpose. He grabbed another ration bar and bit it angrily. She stared at him as he chewed. You know, we're compatible, biologically. Stop. Your scent's kind of comforting. Stop. Your heartbeat speeds up when I lean in. He stood. I'm going to bed. You're already in it. I'll sleep on the floor. Fine. But I'm clinging to your leg. I swear to every moon in the sector. Careful, human. That's a mating oath. You made that up. Maybe. She grinned wider as he sank down to the floor and rolled up his jumpsuit for a makeshift pillow. You're weird, she murmured. You're worse. I could have been stuck with some glitter-skinned aristocrat who'd chain me up and feed me perfume cubes. Lucky me. But no. I got the human janitor with warm hands, no filter, and a working microwave. I have 2 settings. Perfect. So do I. They sat in silence. Then she added, quieter now. You didn't treat me like a thing. He turned his head. Because you're not. Even when you thought I was just a pet. I still saw your eyes. She blinked. Most don't look that far. Most are idiots. She curled her tail closer to herself, voice dropping. You really planning to give me back? He hesitated. Is that what you want? No, she said. I want to stay. Be annoying. Eat your food. Call dibs on your bunk. You're really bad at negotiating. I'm not negotiating. I'm warning you. She slid off the bed and lay down beside him, tail curling around his leg like she'd done it 1,000 times. He sighed. You bite in your sleep? Only when I'm happy. Good night. Good night, human. He didn't respond. Also, your leg smells like engine oil and vanilla. Not a compliment. Don't care. Smells like home. He rolled over. She curled closer. Neither of them said another word. But somewhere, tucked between exhaustion and accidental companionship, Rhett realized something terrifying. He didn't hate this. Rhett woke to find her reorganizing his tools. By color. And scent. She had labeled one wrench. Angry metal banana. And another. Sad thunder pipe. He rubbed his face. Why are you touching my tools? She smiled over her shoulder, tail swishing. Learning your habits. If I'm going to be your mate/roommate/unpaid emotional support animal, I should know what turns you on. Torque wrenches don't turn me on. Not with that attitude. He sighed and grabbed his date pad. The job board was full of nonsense. Sewage backups on Deck C, mysterious slime in the hydroponics bay, and something tagged. Emergency bidet malfunction, do not lick. Rhett considered quitting. Then remembered he couldn't. Not with her now coded into his housing registry. You're scheduled for a psyche eval, she said, peeking over his shoulder. I flagged it as highly urgent. What? I may have exaggerated some of your behavior during bonding. Claimed you screamed my name in front of witnesses and declared yourself beast wife to the hybrid queen. I didn't say anything remotely like that. Which makes it legally ambiguous. That's how loopholes work. I'm going to be audited, aren't I? Probably. But on the bright side, If they revoke your rights, I get to be your keeper. Full reversal clause. Isn't that romantic? He buried his face in his hands. Why is this happening to me? Because you're kind, average-looking in a hot way, and you said I'll take her with just enough heat to count. That was sarcasm. Sarcasm is sacred mating tone on my homeworld. He got up and reached for his jacket. She immediately slung her arm around his waist. Where are we going? We? No. I am going to Maintenance Base 6. Alone. Incorrect. You're bonded. That means pack dynamics. That means wherever you go, I go. Unless there's danger. Then I throw myself into it first. That's not romantic. That's insane. Same thing. She clung to his side as he walked, her tail swinging with every step, drawing looks from passing crew members. Someone elbowed their buddy and whispered, "Is that the pleasure pet from the gala? She's got her claws in the janitor." Claws, hips, and apparently squatters' rights. Rhett felt his ears go red. "They're talking about you." She grinned. "That means I'm winning." They entered the maintenance lift, and it immediately stalled mid-floor. Flickering lights. Typical. Rhett sighed and pried open the panel. Elevators fried again. "I'll need 5 minutes." "Perfect," she purred, hopping up to sit on the railing, legs swinging. "That gives us time to talk about our first argument." "We're not having one." "Oh, we will. It's tradition. We bond, we bicker, then I bite you, then we kiss over snacks. You skip several vital steps." She leaned in. "Fine. Then let's improvise. What frustrates you most about me?" He stared at her. "You reorganized my underwear by sniff appeal. She nodded. "Yes. Good. Honesty. And? You declared yourself my emotional support apex predator. That's affirmative labeling. You slept wrapped around my leg and drooled on it. Love marking. You licked my toothbrush. Territory. I caught you watching a documentary on how to seduce humans. Research." He rubbed his face. "I should report myself. Or we just accept this as fate. Cross-species chaos. Cosmic accident. A janitor and a runaway pet bride. I am not in a romance novel." She grinned. "You sure talk like the brooding male lead." The lift groaned and started again. She sighed dramatically. "Shame. I was about to initiate step 4, shared trauma snuggle. You made that up." "No. It's chapter 6 in Dominate Me, I'm Fragile, the hybrid courting guide. You have reading material?" "I memorized it. I also underlined the chapter called Clumsy Humans and the Art of Accidental Seduction. He stepped off the lift the moment it opened. She followed close behind, smirking. "So, what's our next adventure, mate?" "Don't call me that." "Mate?" "Any of it. I'm just a guy trying to fix pipe leaks and avoid HR complaints. And I'm just a girl with claws who wants to build a nest out of your socks. You're making it worse." "That's foreplay." They reached the pipe. Steam hissed from a ruptured valve, and Rhett knelt down. She crouched beside him, head tilting. "You know, watching you work is surprisingly attractive. You need higher standards. I grew up in a pleasure cage. These are my high standards. Please don't say that in public." She tapped the toolcase. "You need the coupling wrench." "I know. You looked at the Hydra driver. They're stacked wrong. I stacked them by smell. Don't ever do that again." "I won't." She smiled innocently. "Unless you make that noise again." "What noise?" The annoyed grunt. "It makes my tail wag." He worked silently. After a beat, she added softly, "You didn't ask me if I'm okay." He paused. "Are you?" "No. But I'm better. And it's your fault." He glanced up. "I didn't do anything. You didn't throw me back. You didn't treat me like a thing. And you didn't say no when I climbed into your space like an emotionally damaged tick." He snorted. "That's not how I'd describe you." She blinked. "Oh? I'd say, aggressively affectionate. Territorial. Horrible boundaries. She grinned. But sincere. Honest. Ridiculously loyal. Funny. And brave in ways that are probably illegal. She blinked fast. You really think I'm funny? I think you're dangerous with jokes. Close enough. He stood, finishing the repair. There. Valve's done. She clapped. My hero. That means you're entitled to a reward. No reward. I'm going to nap. Nap on top of me? No. Nap while I hum a song about mating season? No. She stepped close, looking up at him, eyes big and shimmering. What if I promise not to mark your clothes again? He sighed. I'd believe you if you weren't wearing my undershirt right now. She grinned. It smells like shame and cinnamon. He stared. That's not even a thing. It is now. He rubbed his temples as she slid her hand into his. He didn't pull away. I'm still calling dibs on your bunk, she said. I know. You could just give in, human. You'd like that too much. She leaned close. Exactly. And even as he groaned, Red realized one horrible, undeniable truth. He was smiling. The knock on the door wasn't friendly. It was official, 3 thuds followed by silence, like judgment in audio form. Red opened it slowly, bracing for disaster. Instead, he found 2 figures. One was a 6-eyed bureaucrat holding a data pad, the other was a stern, older alien woman in ceremonial armor. Red Danner, the official said, you have violated 12 interspecies clauses concerning biological acquisition, undocumented pleasure pet conversion, and, let's see, misuse of bonding privileges without a breeding permit. He tapped the screen. Also, you failed to report your asset's heat cycle. Red blinked. What? The armored woman stepped forward. She's mine, she growled. My daughter. My blood. And you will release her at once. From behind Red, claws slid along the door frame. She's not going anywhere, said the hybrid girl, voice low and too calm. The bureaucrat cleared his throat. There is a solution. If the human can pass a cultural assimilation test, confirm emotional compatibility, and demonstrate adequate mate maintenance behaviors, the bond may be retroactively legalized under Clause 73C. What the hell is mate maintenance behavior? Red asked. Affection, said the mother. Dedication, said the bureaucrat. Backrubs, said the hybrid girl. Public displays of ownership, added her mother with a snarl. Wait, are you into this too? It runs in the family, she replied flatly. Rhett was pushed into a side room where a glowing orb hovered between them. The test. A real-time biometrics and sincerity reader. He had to speak truthfully, or it would flash red. If it stayed green through 5 questions, he kept her. The orb pulsed. First question. Do you see her as an equal? He nodded. Yes. Green. Do you respect her consent? Yes. And she barely ever gives it, except when it's confusing and wrapped in innuendo. Green. Would you protect her from harm? Red thought of the cage. The looks. The scars she didn't talk about. Yes. Even if she punches the danger first. Green. Would you stay, even if she never changed? He hesitated. She watched him, fierce and quiet. He took a breath. Yes. Because I'm starting to think I'm the one who needs to change. Green. Final question. The orb dimmed, then pulsed brightly. Do you love her? Silence. He looked at her. The mess. The chaos. The improvised living arrangement built on jokes, snarls, too many close calls, and even more close cuddles. Yes, he said softly. And I don't know how it happened. But I do. The orb turned gold. Everyone blinked. Her mother grunted. Accepted. You're now bound under tri-species compact law. Joint finances. Shared domicile. Co-nesting responsibilities. The bureaucrat smiled. You also inherit her family debt. Red swayed. How much? Only 6 million credits. His knees buckled. She caught him with one arm and grinned. Too late now, husband. He groaned. This is why you never joke at an auction. She kissed his cheek. You saved me with sarcasm. Now I'll ruin you with affection. I think that's supposed to be romantic. It is. In our culture, threatening to destroy someone's stability with intimacy is the highest form of love. Back in their shared quarters, Rhett slumped on the couch as she curled up beside him like she belonged there. Her tail wrapped around his ankle. He didn't bother moving it anymore. Hey, she murmured, voice soft now. You didn't have to say yes. I didn't have to pick you either. But you did. You said I'll take her, remember? I said it like a joke. Best joke you ever told. He laughed under his breath. You're not exactly what I imagined in a partner. Too much teeth? Too much everything. She smiled into his shoulder. You didn't want someone perfect. You wanted someone real. And I'm real in ways that require hazard pay. I believe it. They sat in silence for a moment, warm and strange and familiar all at once. He reached for a datapad and scrolled past job listings. She nudged him. New goal, we pay off my debt, and you buy me a bigger nest. A bigger apartment? No. A literal nest. I'm going full instinct mode. You're going to help me line it with laundry. Why do I feel like I'm the one being domesticated? Because you are. But don't worry, there's a mating reward system. He shook his head, laughing. You are unbelievable. I'm yours. He paused. Yeah. You are. She purred. Say it again. You're mine. Now say it with more growl. Nope. That's where I draw the line. I'll break you eventually, human. He smirked. I know. And as her claws toyed with the edge of his shirt, and her tail thumped in contentment, he realized something terrifying. He was happy. And even worse? He didn't want to escape.